Hi, all. It's Jonte Harrell. I'm the CFO of Zen Ledger. We simplify crypto taxes with software. And it's my great pleasure again to have Brian Foster of Dash Core Group here today talking about the future of Web3 and what's next. Brian, how are you?
Doing great, Jonte. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So, Web3, that is let's say, a term that has been probably at its height at the end of 2022. And we've seen permutations of it in 2023. But I think that term is going to stay around. And so for me, when I think about Web3, I think about the evolution of Web 1.0, Web 2.0, where creators, individuals, businesses take matters in their own hands and can transact with whoever they want on a lower cost basis. And I think Dashcore Group is enabling that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We're getting there. Yeah. I mean, we've been very payment focused over the past years, but we are moving into the Web3 area. And yeah, you asked the question, what's next? I mean, that's a good question, right? I don't know if anyone knows exactly what's next, but we do know that there's certainly going to be, need for payments surrounding Web3. And so it's, with our enhanced protocol coming out this year, that's really what we're trying to get a good handle on ourselves, as well as, how can we mesh the two together and make sure that, according to, what we're talking about, making sure that people can do all these great new things, but not have to worry about, taxable events and the challenges surrounding that.
That's great. And I don't want to spill too many beans about your announcement that probably is forthcoming, but I will say that I think that solution is needed as we think about Web3. The space that started with kind of crypto, it started with Satoshi in the white paper that was peer to peer, has expanded. So it's gone from peer to peer to be more merchant based, more business based, and it's not only just a speculation or a interchange between two people. We're talking about games, the metaverse, which is its own kind of new world. We're also talking about different forms of interacting with merchants. And now, with the advent of NFTs, you now have purchases and exchanges of goods. And so, to the extent your platform will focus on many or all of these areas, what are you most excited about the future of Web3?
Uh, Geez, there's just
Good
so
question.
much. There's so much of it, right? There's so much to be excited. I mean, I personally have not been into. I'm not a big gamer myself, but I have found that to be a really interesting space. I mean, so obviously we're coming to tax season in the U.S. I mean, I have my own taxes I have to deal with. I work at a cryptocurrency company that I have a ton of crypto transactions, either for myself personally or that I do, on behalf of the company. Um, and I'm not going to lie, it's a bit daunting to think about what I have to deal with from a tax perspective. So, you know, all the excitement that I've had for doing all these things in Web3, the Web3 space. I mean, gaming, NFTs, all this stuff, right? Every one of these things has a taxable event for the most part associated to it, at least in the current regulatory environment, right? I mean, you're earning rewards on a game, that's income. You're buying a skin and you're maybe trading it with another player or something. Like all of these things, any kind of receipt of any kind of crypto or NFT or whatever, is all of these things are tax oriented. So being able to have a solution like Zen Ledger is just, I mean, for me, it's a lifesaver. Like I honestly, I mean, I'm going to be using Zen Ledger for my own personal use because I can't even fathom what it would take to. There are no good solutions out there right now, in the traditional finance space to deal with the type of complexities that we're dealing with. So, yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that support. We're trying to partner with great folks like yourself, Dashboard Group, as well as others, because we see that expansion happening past kind of that original kind of, we can trade with crypto. Now it's become an economy of sorts. And so to your point, tax really hits every piece of that. Um, gaming and those skins, right? Like, one wouldn't think that inside a game, when you're not paying attention, it's not deemed as income, that transaction could be deemed as income. But I think these are things that both individuals and businesses need to understand. From the individual's perspective, right now there's no obligation, and we hope that that de minimis type of transaction stays that way. But regulation is evolving, and that is part of what is next in Web3. And for the business perspective, obviously you have you guys to save the day. But when you think about preparing businesses for those obligations, whether it's arming their consumers, their customers with forms, whether it's making sure that they can report in a very easy exportable format, all of those are at play. And so I think the future is definitely bright. To your point, it's one where we have to be a bit more conscious about the transactions and our day-to-day flows, which I don't know that within fiat, if we're kind of that conscious of that day-to-day. We're not really.
No, not at all. I mean, this introduces just a whole nother level of thought that people have to put into the transactions that they're making. And that's why, again, I don't want to over embellish, but it truly is why a solution like Zen Ledger is so important, because we don't want them to have to put so much thought into every transaction that they do. We want them to just, experience the benefits and the value of what Web3 and crypto brings, and not have to worry about any of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great point to close on. Both of us are working to make sure it's a seamless process for both businesses and individuals. And so that's what we're committed to do. And I think that's frankly how we win the future. So
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. You too. Thank you.
All right. It was a pleasure.